by Friend, throws a perfect pass.
In tonight's episode of Sports Scene, we have a look at the NRL with Origin looming around the corner.
Morgan bump past one. Does he get that ball down?
We also take a look at the National Capital District Volleyball Association. And we bring to you the semi-final of the Telikom National Soccer League in Madang.
At the box, you got Malagian on the far side. Chance to score!
Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Sports Scene. I'm joined once again by Mr. Jeremy Mogi.
Dion Kombang, exciting week. Great to be here.
It's been huge. You just got yourself back from covering the Telikom National Soccer League.
Yes, I
over
did.
in Madang. Exciting stuff, which we will get to later on in the show. We'll just talk briefly about the NRL. Yeah, it was a huge weekend of rugby league with Origin around the corner. The Brisbane Broncos played against the Cowboys, and the Brisbane Broncos have been in really good form.
Yeah, well, you know, after 10 rounds and they're top of the NRL ladder, and they were expected to win this game.
They were expected to, but you can't take anything away from the Cowboys. The Cowboys were just superb. I mean, the Broncos themselves played it was an exciting game. You know, both sides exchanging a lot of class, showing a lot of class football, and the Cowboys, man.
There's one player in particular that you were very impressed with.
Michael Morgan scored a hat-trick, and just when it looked like Coots had put the nail on the coffin for the game with that field goal, I thought it was over a 1-point victory to the Cowboys. But then Michael Morgan comes through, steps past defenders and barges over the line and adds salt to the Broncos' wounds and takes the victory for the Cowboys. So it was a great win for the Cowboys. Then it was also the Battle of Sydney.
Yeah, the halves combination.
Yes,
you had
Trent Hodgkinson and Reynolds for the Bulldogs.
Josh Reynolds on one side, and you had Mitchell Pearce.
And James Maloney.
All four of them battling for positions for the New South Wales Blues in 2 weeks' time for the State of Origin. So
yes, it was exciting as well. It was a good game, but you have to give it to the Sydney Roosters, who were just on top of their game. Tuivasa-Sheck and as well as Jake Friend, they played exciting football. Jake Friend was just superb, and Tuivasa-Sheck just backed up as he always does. Now that was.
I have a question though.
Yes.
Do you feel that with the performances this week, that in general in the NRL, that players do tend to step up, leading towards the Origin season?
I mean, Origin is one of the biggest football matches, and a lot of the players, I mean, it's a huge honor to be playing Origin, so a lot of these players want to get involved. So I reckon, yes, in some respect, it does make them want to go the extra mile and be selected for it, because it is the pinnacle of one of the pinnacles of rugby league. So it was just awesome. It's really good to see everybody stepping up their game. As well as we go to Saturday's football, the Warriors once again, they defeated Parramatta Eels. Sean Johnson.
What can you say?
Magician. He's just a class footballer. The Titans and Sharks. That was such an exciting game.
You know, one of the things that I noticed about the Titans-Sharks game was the end-to-end action. There was just movement all over the park.
It was such an exciting round of football. If you watch the game, you will know exactly what we're talking about. Both teams were not ready to give in. Just when the Gold Coast Titans looked to have momentum and they were going to take the game, Sharks fought back. And they came back and they meant business. And then they actually pushed the game in extra time. And it was so impressive. Valentine Holmes, the winger, comes up with the field goal and seals the victory for the Sharks. So great win there for the Sharks. And Valentine Holmes too has been playing superb football. Straight after, there was also the Storms and Rabbitohs game. I am a huge Melbourne Storm supporter, so I was super pleased with the Storms' performance. No doubt Rabbitohs did play a really good, they did play really well. But I reckon the Storms were just too strong.
Do you feel they're going to get back-to-back? I mean, it's only early on in the season. There's only 10 rounds. There's about 14 left, but
For the Rabbitohs, I reckon the Rabbitohs still do have a chance. You can't. They're a championship. They're a champion club. You can't take anything away from them. But there's a lot of good competition. The Broncos have been in superb form. The Cowboys are coming up. The Storm are still playing very consistent football. So it's gonna be really interesting this year. There's no real favorites because I'm looking back in last season. The Rabbitohs were just favorites from the start. They were pretty much unstoppable, and they actually showed it throughout. But this season, it's going to be really interesting because I reckon a lot of teams and a lot of players are playing really good football, so it should be interesting to see. Now, the Dragons and Raiders.
Dragons and Raiders, yes.
Dragons ran away with that. Dragons too have been playing really good football with Benji Marshall. You know, Benji Marshall in there, and it was a pretty bad loss for the team when they lost Josh Dugan. So, but they should be playing really well. Also, in the last game of Sunday football was the Knights and Tigers. Tigers have been struggling a little bit. Tedesco's been playing good football, but yeah, the Knights were a bit too strong. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up Sunday's football. Tonight, on Monday Night Football, we'll feature the Sea Eagles take on the Panthers with Origin around the corner. Origin's going to be massive. The Blues have finally taken one away from the Queenslanders, and I'm sure the Queenslanders will be red hot and ready to take revenge and come back with, come back to take it back.
Who do you support, by the way?
I'm an avid New South Wales supporter.
Okay.
The Queenslanders do have a really good team that will come in this year with a lot of fresh talent that's been shown, especially at club level. A lot of footballers with Michael. Australia, the Kangaroos, is the Queensland team. So you might say that the Queensland backline is aging, but it should be exciting to see what will happen because obviously it'll be really interesting. So I'm really looking forward to State of Origin. I hope you are as well. And yeah, there's a lot to watch, so stay tuned as we will probably give more updates on the lead up into Origin. And that should be just about it. Then we'll, after the break, we'll bring to you some of the action from the National Capital District Volleyball Association. Stay with us. And welcome back to the show. This weekend was
NCT Volleyball Association.
Yes, NCT Volleyball Association were into their normal rounds. It's really good to see a lot of volleyballers get into the proper season now, and it's exciting to see a lot of the clubs get back. Teams such as Vailima, Juma Thunders, and Juma Thunders always a team to watch out for. So it was good. They're back and they have their competition up and running now. So
and this is round 3, I take
yes,
it.
Yes, it should be about round 3. Also, one of the players from Juma Thunders is also in the national team.
PNG blocker George David.
George David. This guy is massive. He's huge, and he's a part of the national team. And yeah, it should be the national Amur teams gearing up for the Pacific Games. And also you can catch their profile on Road to Port Moresby. So yeah.
Yeah, which is going to air, I think, this Wednesday.
Yes, this Wednesday. So you can catch that on Road to Port Moresby. And yeah, so here are some of the highlights. Here with one of the giants of the team, as you can see, he's pretty massive. He's the middle blocker for the Amur team, and he's just going to run through us a little bit of how to attack a short ball, isn't that correct? So George, basically how do you attack a short ball?
For me, when the service goes and the pass into the second, so I'll follow the ball.
Yeah, so that was what happened at the...
Very interesting.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so George David is definitely someone to watch out for at the Pacific Games. Now, after the break, we will bring to you all the action from the semi-finals in Madang for the Telikom National Soccer League. You have to stay with us for this. And welcome back to the show. It was exciting this weekend. Now, Jeremy is going to go all out on this because it was the semi-finals of the Telikom National Soccer League. Exciting, exciting, exciting. I heard the crowd was just massive.
The crowd made the hair on my head stand up. And I have a lot of hair.
And that's a good thing, right?
That is a good thing.
Okay.
It was such a massive crowd, mate. They were everywhere. They have stadiums in Australia with 60,000 people that are half empty. Build one of those in Madang and it will fill up.
It was
There
crazy.
were so many people there, standing room only.
Lake City Dwellers, they have secured their spot in the grand final of defeating FC Port Moresby. Jeremy.
Yes, FC Port Moresby, former grand finalists from the 2013 season. They weren't part of last season, but they came back again this year. And when we met up with them at the airport, traveling up on Friday afternoon, the team did look relaxed. They were comfortable, focused. But Lake City Dwellers, just too strong. And you know, with a Momase backing behind you,
You can't go wrong. But you mentioned these two players right from the very early stages of the season. Nigel Dabenyaba and Raymond Gunemba. You kept saying these twins, and they just stepped up and they delivered for Lake City Dwellers over the weekend, didn't they, Jeremy?
they did, in fact. Captain Raymond Gunemba opens the scoring. Soon after that, Nigel Dabenyaba
And he grabbed a double.
doubles.
Oh, exciting. Ayrton Yagas came off the bench and managed to get a goal for FC Port Moresby.
Neil Hans sent a wonderful free kick right from near halfway. But the game was already won. The best strike partnership in the history of the NSL. I mean, we had Kamajak,
Yes.
Henry Ferraro, Joaquim Roy, all these Hekari players for all these years. But those were domestic and international players.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden you've got Nigel and Raymond together.
And they're playing class football.
They are playing class.
Now tell me.
Well, just before you ask, one of the things that I admire the most about those two is instinct. They know exactly when and where to move off of each other.
Do you think they were pivotal in the victory? Do you think they were the ones who, could you say single-handedly won the game for Lake City Dwellers?
Single-handedly, they scored, but they couldn't have done it without their midfield.
Definitely. Also.
A lot of times, what happens is, you know, when you're a little kid, you just say, "I just kick the ball up front, let the striker take care of it."
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And in a sport like football, it's always a team effort. And I bet if the forwards are as strong as they are, it has to be because they have a good backline in order to back them up. Midfield, control play, give the forwards the right opportunities.
Exactly.
And the opportunities that come to the forwards, they
Because-
will make use.
See, what happened was Raymond and Nigel had a lot of space because their midfield was holding possession. And they were using that possession properly, which forced FC Port Moresby to man mark and to double up players in space on one side. So as a result, Raymond and Nigel had a lot more room to maneuver.
And when you give those two players, because of how good they are, when you give them a bit of room, they will make sure that they will make you pay.
It's going to be a wonderful grand final next week.
And I heard you also did a fair bit of commentating, which we will get to in the next segment, because in the next segment we will talk in detail about Madang making history and defeating former champions Hekari United. So do not touch a dial. Stay with us after these few short messages. And welcome back to the show. Madang, 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 Madang. Madang FC have created history. Madang have edged out former champion club Hekari United in the Telikom National Soccer League semi-finals. And they have booked their spot against the Lay City Dwellers. Exciting football. Jeremy, just tell us, how was it?
Mate, the atmosphere was electric. In the first game between FC Port Moresby and Lay City Dwellers, yes, there was a sizable crowd, but they started flooding in by around 2 o'clock. This was the game to watch.
And what were you doing?
I was on the rooftop of the Lai Warden. I had a wireless microphone, and I did a bit of, well, I commentated for the majority of the match.
Commentary. So here's a look at Jeremy's commentary in the Hekari versus Madang FC football match.
The switch comes, and it's missed by Sasa. And Tupaiga is there. Tanito misses that as well. Tommy Sammy tries to thread it through for Emmanuel Simon. David Muta here. He's got Joachim Warroy, decides to go for Sammy himself. And he can't get the cross in. There's a good challenge there by the captain. They do look comfortable this time. Come along. He's won it. Inside the box, you got Malagian on the far side. Chance to score! And this number 14 player, wonderfully gifted midfielder for Hekari, Emmanuel Simon. Strong challenge there by Muta. Out wide to Eriksson Komeng. Switches play. They're all on side. Joachim Warrow, chance now for the equalizer. And question marks all over the field. There did appear to be players offside, but it is given. Goes wide, Eriksson Komeng. Used to be a wonderful, prolific scorer when he was younger. Hasn't featured. He did have that ankle and thigh injury, and also a chronic knee problems, especially over the last 2 seasons. So it's been a difficult period for Eriksson Komeng. Great to see him over here this week. Kini just being very, very smart there this afternoon. Malagian again. On touch in Segum. Decides to switch it. Come along alongside him. That was a mouthful. Hansen Topio. Crowd favorite, the former Lay player. And the atmosphere on the far side just buoyant. Topio. Good skill, but Daniel Joe's experience wins out. Hansen Topio, incidentally, the son of former PNG striker Trimo Topio. It's a wonderful family connection there. Chance, shot comes in. But there's a reason why Ismail Pole is one of the best goalkeepers here in the country. And why Hekari have featured him in almost all of their matches. Joe. Komeng. Oh, kept his eyes off the ball, missed it as a result. Lian Manasseh. Safety first, clears it out wide. Crowd not too happy with that. Joe, Tommy Sammy. He's got Emmanuel Simon with him, decides to go himself, steps past the third, jumps over. Amos Anio says no, play on. A couple of weeks back against Besta FC. Boy. Come along, chance now, edge of the box. Sammy Hiob! Madang FC have taken the lead again. And again, it's that combination from up front. The last time it was between Alwyn Komalong and Vanya Malagian, and now it's between Eluda Poya and Sammy Hiob. Hekari a little slow pushing up, they decide to go long. Nobody there really for Hekari. Topio steps over. Komeng had to slide. We know how dangerous the left-hand side for Madang is. Chance now again. Boy. Crosses. This match has been brought to absolute life. Vincent Wario. Topio. Got Malagian on the far side. Chance now, let it run! Goal number 3! Madang FC, they have taken it! Madang! And Amos Anio not impressed, and a yellow card for Tommy Sammy. Can understand the frustration on his face. But he slows it down. Komalong's running onto it. Chance now. He's onside. Upaiga under pressure. Upaiga under a lot of pressure. Esasa. Irem. Twinkle toes. Emmanuel Irem. Midfielder David Mutta this time back to Emmanuel Simon. One touch back to David Mutta. Good control on the chest. Nobody's running for Hekari. And as a result, the ball goes past Emmanuel Irem. Well, chance now, Tanito. Tommy Sammy goes high again. Irem controls, got 3 players around him. Gets past the first one. And Hansen Topio. He tells his teammates it's all right, the ball's gonna go out anyway, leave him be. Sammy. Tanito. Sammy again, he's got a bit of space. Gets a good cross coming in, Joaquim Warroy. Poor clearance. Chance, Emmanuel Simon. Oh! And they scored. Tommy Sammy receives it, crosses. Kamajak. Chance now, Hekari could score! No! Tommy Sammy again, and the cavalry is there. Wonderful clearance by Madang. Only seconds remain until the game's over, and there it is! History created! Madang FC have defeated Hekari by 3 goals to 2. The crowd running in, overjoyous scenes here at the Lai Warden. History has been made.
And history has been made. Jeremy, why?
This is the first time in a decade that we do not have Hekari in. It is the first time that we have a Momase grand final.
And that's going to happen over in Leh.
It's going to be held over in Leh. Anticipation is already building. Leh taking on Madang in the grand final. First time since the old format of the national championships from about 2002, 2003. Now we have the NSL again. Regardless, I did post it on Facebook on Sunday night, that regardless of the outcome that happens next week Saturday, history will be made.
Massive, 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 and I am really looking forward to that. I'm not much of an avid footballer, but I've been following the Telikom National Soccer League, and I am so excited for this, and we'll see how it turns out. That pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, Jeremy, for joining me again.
Thank you, Dion.
And it should be exciting next week, so make sure you catch up with us again, and I'm sure Jeremy will have the full rundown of the grand final of the Telikom National Soccer League. And that's just about it. That's a wrap from us here on Sports Scene. Make sure you catch Scholar every Thursday nights for Hotspot, and Lorraine Genya on Road to Port Moresby 2015, where we will feature the PNG Amur volleyball team's profile. That's a wrap from us here on Sports Scene. Thank you very much for your company. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.